Linking holdings attached to brief records in the institution zone to network zone records. These procedures are for items with records that exist in the institution zone and exist in the network zone, but are not linked to each other. As an example, let's catalog the title Thought Leadership by Robin Wright. The first thing we want to do is to do a repository search for this item in Alma. So now we're looking at the record for this item in our institution zone. We can tell that because the institution tab in the top left of the screen is active. And we can also tell that this record is not currently linked to any record in the network zone because the icon of the man with the blue face does not appear next to the title on this screen. Let's take a look at this record. And we can see that this record is fairly brief. And we can also see that there are not any OCLC numbers contained in any of these 035 fields in this record. Let's go back. The next thing we want to do is check to see if there's a good record for this item in the network zone. Because if there is a good record for this item in the network zone, we want to link our holdings to that rather than importing a new record from connection. We can check the network zone by clicking on the network tab. And we can see that a record for our item has come up and it's held by Georgia State. So let's take a look at this record. So this looks like a good record, and what we're going to want to do is go back now and attach our holdings to this network zone record rather than importing anything new from connection. So to attach our holdings, we'll want to go back to the institution zone and call up our record again, and we'll want to click on Holdings. So here we can see that there's a screen that's showing us the Holdings ID number and that this is an item that's on order for stacks. We'll want to select the Actions menu and go to View. So now we're looking at our holdings record in mark format. We can see that in a couple of places on the screen there are buttons that say Relink. We'll want to click on one of these Relink buttons, and when we do that, it's going to open the metadata editor. So now we're looking at a screen in the metadata editor that is split, and it has our holdings record on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, there's a search screen. And you can see that at the top of the screen, there are the 3 zones. And then there are some drop-down menus where you can enter the criteria for your search. We want to search the network zone to call up that record that we have just seen. It's held by Georgia State. And we can search our title and our creator. So now we see that we have some search results here. This is hopefully going to be our network zone record. Let's take a look. This looks good. So let's go back to our search results. Now we want to select Relink because we know that this is the record for the item that we want to relink. And now we're looking at our holdings record. So we can save this holdings record. Let's take this out on this screen. And now we can use the form editor to do any other corrections that we'd like to make. Oh, I was in the wrong field. Let's go back. Make sure we're in the right field when we click on the form editor. Here we go. Open form editor. And so we can put this in main B. And when we're done, we can close our form editor and save. Now we can view and add inventory here. I don't know if we have an item record. Let's see. So we can add an item record. And I'll just make up a record. And any other information that we'd like to add on the item record, we could add now, and we can click Save. And let's go back. So now that we're done, we want to make sure to release the holdings record when we're finished working on it. We could do that by choosing Save and Release, or Control-Alt-R, or if we're sure that everything is saved and we know that we've previously saved it, we can click on Mark 21 Holdings and release all records. But I'm not sure, so let's do Save and Release. And now we see that the holdings record has been released. Let's go back and make sure that everything looks okay. So we can do a repository search again. So now we're looking at 2 records for this item in our institution zone. We can see that our holdings have been moved and they're now attached to a record that is linked to that network zone record. And we can see that our old order record is here. It's this second record. So let's take a look at this old order record first. And you can see that's the brief record that we started with. Let's go back and look at this first record. And you can see that that's the more full record that was held by Georgia State. Let's go back. And we can look at this record in the network zone as well. And now we can see, looking in the network zone, that the network zone record is linked to inventory at my institution. I can tell that because the icon of the temple is appearing next to the title. And we can also see that it says held by my institution and held by Georgia State University. Let's go back to our institution zone. So now that we have these 2 records here, depending on what is appropriate to do as far as if there are orders attached to this item or information that is important for acquisitions purposes, we'll want to suppress this record, or if we can get rid of it, we'll want to delete this record. Right now, let's just go in and suppress it. So we can click on that record that we want to suppress and go to Edit. Then we can go to Tools, Set Management Tags, and Suppress from Discovery. Now let's save it. Let's go back. And now we can see that the icon of the I with the red line through it is appearing next to the title that we wanted to suppress. That way this record is not going to appear in the OPAC and cause any confusion. The only record that patrons will be able to see is the record that's correctly linked to that network zone record.